Yeah, sure. Hi, hello, welcome. So, I don't think I need to use the headset. It's like 1:30, maybe like 2 o'clock now in the morning. Hopefully, it's quiet enough. Um, Definitely some like late night scorpionic vibes going on. We're almost in Scorpio season, no shade to Libra season. But the ooks and the spooks do come out more the later it gets into November. So the light is off. Full disclosure, this is one of those it is what it is. Oracle Juice Edition videos for. Why am I talking like maybe there's somebody here that's new to everything that goes on over here? Oracle Juice is alcohol. So that's when I drink some kind of alcohol and I pull cards and I use the justification of my Mercury being in Pisces to, it's like when the oracles used to tap in on the cave fumes and then give a message. We're like doing similar. Similar. That's just what I do. Um, I wanted to use a deck I haven't in a minute, and I saw the Crow Tarot. It was good. I haven't had that in a minute. Um, I had the Crow Tarot, and I remember the Raven's Head had come out. No, the Raven's Head had come out recently, but it also came out when I was looking for the 9 or 10 black moons of the vow. We've officially had all of those moons. I think the new moon led the base metal at the bottom of the deck. I think the new moon Libra was the 10th. Yeah, because it's been a new moon month. Um, so Libra was 10th. I can't remember if there's. Let's see. I feel like it's number 54. It may not be. It's around 54. That's 45. 54 is the blue temple. Let's see. Where's the bell? Um, I wonder if Kim is working on a new deck. Maybe not. Um, the Void. That's in the archetypes. I'm not gonna go looking for the vow. Um, anyway, oh, like we're past that. We're beyond that. I can't remember if it had 9 or 10 moons, but there was something about the vow, and I don't even remember. Um, then why are you talking about it? Because I just had the thought. Because I'm thinking about what came out um, and why the birth of the Pisces Virgo nodal axis is. And sometimes things come out or up before their time to give us a moment to give us an opportunity to engage a little bit of what I'm sure would be referred to as like sovereignty or autonomy or whatever, to give us an opportunity to feel ahead a little bit and ask ourselves if we want different or not, and to at least position ourselves internally to work accordingly. But anyway, that was the last time, or one of the last times I saw the Raven's head. That's why that came to mind. But I did think of that earlier. Because it was something about one of those 9 or 10 moons. And I guess that's interesting because in the SKT, in the Three of Cups, the Kindred, the Norse compass that is on that moon feels like some kind of seal. And one by one, if like each arm of the compass comes off, and there's something more that is revealed, you could say. The Ten of Cups was the final card last time. But yeah, honestly, super. I'm just like excited to pull the hero's journey. Rob Kenobi posted a video, uploaded a video of a spread recently. Oh, look, the stars at the cut. And the Wheel of Fortune is at the bottom of the deck. There's Jupiter. I had a thought of Jupiter, but I was like, I already did that. So, um, ooh, okay. Wow. The Two of Cups, with the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Wait, slowly but surely, things are coming together. This is so interesting. The Eight of Wands is behind this Knight of Pentacles. So it's almost a locomotive energy. It's almost like starting to pick up momentum. Something has been proceeding almost like cautiously. It's almost giving me an animal, not necessarily wounded, but it could be an animal that isn't trusting, but typically in need of help, and how they'll like how either you have to take a steady approach to the animal to not frighten it or startle it, or how the animal will like cautiously approach you or a person. But it's almost like once a certain level of comfort has been established, then it's like not slow anymore. I also love the Knight of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands behind it because it speeds up the Knight of Pentacles, but also it almost grounds the Eight of Wands because the Eight of Wands has so much momentum and so much speed behind it. Sometimes it could border on reckless or a lot or too much all at once. But again, with that Nine of Coins, Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles, and then the Ten of Cups is at the cut again. Energy. It may be like a lot, but it is. What's the word for palatable? It's not overwhelming. It could be very whelming, and it is not necessarily without challenge, but there's a recognition, again, because of the comfort that is established, because of what has the time to be established, what is given the space to be established, or because of what is acknowledged. And I say that because even if it hasn't been, unnecessarily like lengthy amount of time, there's been enough time for something to be revealed, processed, and then like welcomed or pursued. Right? Cool. There are like 2 pennies right here. So I'm gonna pull before. I'm kind of gonna do like this side, that side. I feel like I didn't finish the thought, but that's fine. Apparently, my number one fan was like, "Yeah, I can tell when you're doing your little oracle juice, whatever thing," and I feel like I'm doing it right now. But she's like, "I can tell because you're different and you're like more giggly or whatever." I'm like, I'm always giggly. Most of the time, I'm like giggly. I She was a Scorpio. Woo! It's interesting. There are certain ways that I've adopted being to make living easier, as we all do. One of the things was at a certain point in my life, I'd started to like laugh at like everything just to like be friendly or break the ice or just whatever, right? And then I was clocked one day, like junior year of high school, because she was a senior. She was like, "Why do you laugh at everything?" And I was like, "Oh," she was the only person that had ever said something to me. And then in college, one of my not Scorpio, Sagittarius friends noticed that I don't cuss. And he was like, "Do you mind like if I cuss around you?" I was like, "I don't care if you cuss or not. I just tend not to." For personal reasons, reasons from childhood, never grew out of it or never grew into it. And I tell some people, and they're like, "No, you cuss. I've heard you cuss." And I'm like, "When?" I'm like, "I know you do." I'm like, "No, I don't. You've never heard me. The only person that's heard me cuss is Reem." Because she did a video one time. And she was like, "F them." And I was like, "F them." And then I sent her a voice note. And that was like it. Um, yeah, I just don't. I was clocked though. Ooh, but when she clocked me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, no one's ever like clocked me before." But I do generally and genuinely like since then. I feel like at one point it was kind of like I don't know what else to do or say. I don't know if I necessarily do that as much. Hello, I am, fortunately and unfortunately. Really? Yeah, my antimony is there again. Antimony was at the cut when I first broke the deck, and then it had to be at the cut with Mercury because then it was Mercury and well, then I saw separation, and I assumed that antimony was still at the bottom, but Mercury was at the bottom of the deck. Cool. Um. Oh, look there now. Antimony is with separation. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I really want to pull that hero's journey spread that Rob Kenobi just posted, but I'm gonna do it offline for myself. Um, I was gonna like, I haven't typed a read in a minute. I was gonna do that, like sit with it, but then I was like, I got Oracle juice and I want to go live, so here I am. Anyway, also, I'm doing this thing right now. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I've wanted to. Um, I'm going around. My grandma is a part of a leadership board for the local community center. And every fall, they do a bazaar where they raffle off stuff to get money. So, because they do like scholarships and other things in the community. And the proceeds from the raffle tickets that get sold go to those scholarships and those other things, right? And it's interesting, not for necessarily a super long time, but for the past, like this year I haven't been able I haven't had the time to go out to like eat with my grandma or spend as much time with my grandma as like last year or the year before. But here lately I've been spending more time with her, and um we were thinking about going out to eat somewhere, and she was like, "Oh, like I don't patronize this place, or I don't go to this place anymore because they don't give back to the community. And just like hearing her say it didn't impact me as much as like actually being with her and running around and getting the donations like with her for the past few like weekends, and an odd Monday or like an odd Tuesday, Monday, we'll go out to the local businesses and collect donations. And I don't know, it's something about giving where they give back. It does kind of like, it does hit a little different. Um, so now there's a place that I have to try. And everyone's situation is different. Like there was a place today. Today we did follow-ups. And there was a place that's been in business for less than a year and they're still finding their feet. And like if they're not in a position to donate or whatever, like that's, I mean, everyone's circumstance and situation is their circumstance and situation. But there are some that like do very well that massively benefit. And it, I don't know, it just it's something to consider when there are multiple places that you can go, and some of them again like give back to the community. I don't know, it's been interesting here. So ooh, I encourage responsible. I don't promote anything besides responsible consumption of substances if one chooses to partake. But at the end of the day, live your life. But I'm glad that I'm not alone in this. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This antimony and separation is interesting. Now, antimony and separation could obviously, oh my gosh, there's glass. Glass was under separation. That clarifies this message of antimony. Antimony dissolves many things, breaks down many things. Gold is not one of them. So antimony and separation is almost this process of when antimony is used to separate gold from pyrite, gold from fool's gold. And then with the glass being under that separation, it's like, yeah. And under antimony is Mars. So, and under that is the new pearl and winter. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, not what we're looking for. But it's funny how I thought those two would have come out together and then they came out together. Is that a thing lately? Am I like psychic or something? Kidding. Um, like the other day when I was like, didn't we see 51 in the alchemy or in the archetypes? I'm gonna have to blow my nose. And then I looked it up and it was massive confused like chaos. And I was like, no, we didn't see chaos. But then I went live later and chaos ended up coming out. Oh, look, that's the card we're looking for. I know ravens and crows are different birds, but it's with separation. See, but that's the pearl of the new pearl that was under the Mars, that was under antimony. So gold isn't the only thing that's not broken down by antimony, but because it survives the antimony process, you can tell that it's precious or something like that. Or that could be antimony, like there's a speck of gold at the heart of the pearl, and antimony is being used to, goodness, of course, antimony is being used to decalcify the pearl and to reveal what is at its heart. Like four, oh my gosh. 4 cards came out. Guess what the first card on top of this pack is? I'll give you a few seconds while I take a sip. If you guessed fog, nebula, then you would be correct. And I'll give you another guess for what is directly under fog, nebula. It's Neptune. The fog of Neptune strikes again. But under Neptune is Spiritus Rector, the benevolent guide. We'll do it like this. Interesting. You'll have to give me your. I'll send you a message on. I'll reach out to you, but you'll have to give me your. Oh, I don't even know if I can play it here. I'm gonna be going out of town in 11 days, and I'm so excited because I'm so ready to go. But but then I'll be like, there'll be a time difference that's even greater than the one that there is now. I don't know. The internet got switched, and ever since then, I feel like I lag on Diablo. That's why, like, I haven't really been playing the seasons. At least sometimes I try to get the cosmetics if they're good, but they get frustrating. I was gonna be like, oh, I would like reach out and send you my BattleNet ID or Battle Tag or whatever they call it, so we can play together. I mean, I still can, but it's rough enough. Just 57, 39, and 9. Also, Lucos's Lightning number 13 came out. Oh. What's at the bottom of the deck? Lead. If this ain't almost low key, that trickstery energy. The lightning makes it seem like there's some kind of spirit that is using the fog of Neptune to appear as lighter than it is with the lightning. Because the Spiritus Rector looks like it could be made of fog. And then with the lead being base, like this is the base metal, unalchemized, untransformed. Now, do I shuffle this back away, or like back into the deck, or is this our starting point? Do I look for the Raven's Head here? I'm gonna look for the Raven's Head. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna start here. There's a song that's in my head. It's Justice. From, I don't know if it's their newest album. JK. It is Cross. No, Woman. Or is it from Cross? No, I'm pretty sure it's from Woman. I'm going to mute this so I can try to find it real quick. So it's Stop. Stop is the name of the song. Justice. Stop. Lyrics. Who knows? Da, 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 da. Kirsty, hello, hi, how are you? There will be another time, hopefully. I'm sure there will be. Um, we were so close though. For some reason in my brain, also like Maine was closer to maybe where is that Vermont is. I mean, even Vermont is still on the border, but like I didn't realize that it was also so close to Montreal because I could have seen my best friend's wife, but I didn't know where I would be and if I would like be able to make the trip. And then I was able to. Also, Kirsty, I'm gonna be reaching out to you soon. I asked my friend, I was like, I'm gonna be like, hopefully meeting up with Kirsty. So let me know when a good day, like I can do that is, because sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, I was planning to do this thing that I never told you about," but he has to go in like 3 out of 5 days a week now. So I don't know. I'm so bad at like knowing where I want to go or planning things. But if there's a day that works particularly well for you, I think I told you when I'm going to be there. Then let me know. And I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Or we'll figure it out. I'll try to be more proactive this time. Okay. Let's look before and after that Raven's head. Because this is such an interesting energy. High key. Yeah, I'll put this here. I was trying to decide if I wanted to leave lead out or put it back. There's this energy that I am totally. It just kind of like is what it is. And I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but I'm trying to be like more chill to a certain extent. I had a dream that effed me up, and I don't know. I feel like also it's just because the North Node is in Aries, and because we're at the tail end of the North Node in Aries, I feel like it's so important for us to choose and decide. And it's interesting because before the nodes went Aries Libra, based upon my perspective of a collective experience of the past few nodal cycles, I was like, what would North Node Aries, South Node Libra look like? And in some ways, we're here. Um, but it's also like there are so many, I guess, ways that this energy has presented itself over the past however long. Like it's the same energy that was the Nine of Cups And it was like there are some who will manifest great things with that Nine of Cups energy. Everyone will manifest what it is that they desire in a way, or everyone will seek what it is that they're seeking in a way. But some people will see what others have sought or manifested and will be like, well, I didn't know that I could ask for that. I didn't know that that was on the table. I didn't know that that was an option. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Nobody told me, whatever, no one told me. But it was like, that's not what you desired when you were confronted with an energy of actualization, realization, or manifestation. You took the path that you wanted. And so even if you knew at the time, like hindsight is 2020, but like even still, like you asked for what you wanted. This isn't what you wanted, or at least it's not what you wanted enough to actually ask for it and to, receive it. But now that you see what someone else is doing with whatever they have, it's like, oh, well, I didn't know I could do that. It's almost that same energy, but it's like a different face of that energy of this. Um, I've never noticed this. I don't think I've ever noticed this. There's an owl's eye right there. That's the eye of an owl. Broken up, distorted by the fog. It's almost like the real guardian, guide, whatever, gets distorted by the fog. And then this other energy uses the fog to lighten itself to appear benevolent, when in reality, you could say it isn't benevolent, but it's one of those like, it's weird to put morality on spirit because spirit isn't a human, but it's like, exactly, because spirit isn't human, the burden of alignment falls on us, almost in a way. We have to be intentional and discerning about what we align to and align with, because on the other side, sometimes anything goes type energy. Ooh, really? I remember North Node Gemini when my South Node wasn't Gemini. It wasn't. It was what it was. That's fine. But it's very almost like the monkey's paw, or like one of those old school gin, like be careful what you ask for because you'll get it. Maybe not in a way that you want it, but you'll get it. Maybe, maybe not. All right. Smoke is with the void. If you're curious, smoke is in between Venus and the void, which is it's interesting. It is what it is. Again, we get what we ask for. We find what it is that we're seeking. But that's also why there have been so many messages of like, there's some energy that goes to the heart. And if there is, like, we have affirmations and we have practices to speak what we want, even if it isn't what we fully believe. But as something goes to the heart, the truth is the first and the last thing that it sees, the last and the first. So if that affirmation or whatever doesn't penetrate to the heart or to the soul to the point where there's actual change, it doesn't hold as much weight because it's further from the heart. It all sort of like plays and works together. I'm like, who am I even looking for? Oh my gosh. The Raven's Head. I have, oh, well, here it is. Excuse me, Summer, number 18. We literally just saw Summer as an alchemical operation somewhere. I don't remember where. And then the Raven's Head, and then Iron. Guess what's under Iron? Glass. Iron is associated with Mars. We just saw glass under. It wasn't under Mars because it was on the other side. We saw glass with Mars, though. Before Summer is Rex Marinus, the drowned king. Ray Del Mar. Well, I guess that would be King of the Sea, but. And there's like all this gold and chaos. And then darkening is here. Darkening, chaos, and the drowned king. And then there's Saturn. The malefic, the bad guy. But it's like, again, like there's this spirit that lightens itself to appear as the benevolent guide with the aid of the fog of Neptune. We do or don't buy it, fall for it. But again, like the eye of this owl that's now being like outcompeted in its own whatever, replaced by this imposter spirit. That's this darkening that happens. And as the darkening happens, there's this like chaos, and all of the gold is like just like lost into the sea with this drowned king. It all falls with this drowned king, the rightful heir. Type energy. Maybe this was a bad idea. You know, I should have just. Oh, there's sulfur. We saw sulfur the other day. There's glass again. I know, right? I am. I don't know. I just feel like it reminds me. Saturn makes me think of when I was in my early teens, and I would walk to because there's a family video. Remember when family video was a thing? Oh my gosh. If you don't know, Family Video was a video rental place, and you can also rent video games and consoles sometimes, video game consoles. And we would walk to Family Video because it's not that far, and we would be walking on one of the main streets in town, and there would be like semi trucks that were coming. But I felt comfortable because I'm like, I'm on the sidewalk, the semi truck is in the street. This border, this boundary that separates us make sure that I'm not going to go splat on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Now, it's not that accidents don't happen, but it was just like oddly comforting. I would walk on the side of the street, and my younger brother would like either be behind me or walk inside. And again, I'm like, oh, well, they're not going to come up on the curb and run me over. So, like, this, like, you know, there was a safety in that. And I guess there's a sweet irony, not sweet irony. There's a very 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 interesting play that's happening as more and more and more um, people come into like their worth and empower themselves, and as we are encouraged to not be fodder for the energy vampires and narcissists in the world, as we are encouraged to set and establish boundaries. It's like almost sometimes it's like I don't know because the planet that's associated with those boundaries, I guess it seems like the view, as far as I've heard, is like changing and improving, but it's like tap dancing in the territory of Saturn with absolutely no respect. well, not anyway. You get with them. It's hyperbole. Okay, I can't help it. I'm a Pisces. All Pisces love hyperbole as much as I do, or is it just the I don't know, drama queen in me? You don't have to be a Pisces to love hyperbole, but it helps. Oh, maybe she was right. I feel like I would giggle at that even if I wasn't drinking Oracle juice, though. So, yeah, see, my Saturn has Aquarius all to itself at the top of my chart, like a shiny star on top of a tree, which is interesting because in the Sabian symbols, I'm pretty sure I'm a fully decorated Christmas tree rising. And I love Christmas. So, I haven't looked at Sabian symbols in a minute. We're not doing it today. It's fine. The Raven's Head is in between Lead and Summer. Iron. I keep confusing these. It's in between Iron and Summer. And it's interesting because we started with Lead. That was at the bottom of the deck, but I made sure I pulled so I wouldn't forget it. Ooh, we're going up into the abyss. The ceiling fan light, the ceiling light is turned off. So all that is illuminated in this room is done so by this little ring light thing. Meaning that, and I have the board like tall ways. Um, it is the higher up the board something goes, the less illuminated it is. But I can tell what everything is. So first card, I know again the Crow and the Raven, and it's interesting that this is iron. It's interesting that it's iron to me. Maybe I'll read iron. Iron and summer. What summer's? But this is air and not fire, which is interesting. All right, let's get like up to two of these, but like one would be really cool. Clean flip or clean fall, please. A clean flip or a. That card was like not going. That wasn't a clean flip, but it failed. The Page of Cups and the Nine of Swords. Let's look at the pictures. Let's look at the images. Oh, oh my gosh. Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords. Under the Ten of Swords is the Two of Cups and the Queen of Swords. After the Queen of Swords is the Five of Swords, and the Knight of Wands is under this Five of Swords. See, there was already almost a tough love energy here with the Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords. But the Queen of Swords being between the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups. Set that backwards. The Two of Cups and the Five of Swords. This is interesting. There's something that is almost very delicate here. This is so interesting because it's the Page of Cups. In my mind, this plays out like I feel like I just saw a whole movie in my mind and then forgot it. But this almost plays out as so there is a subtle, still, quiet voice, one that is the intuition or discernment. It's one that says, with this, with the benevolent guide that makes itself appear lighter than it is. It's speaking of like how we like come into this more and more and more widespread awareness of like narcissists and stuff like that. Um and like gaslighting and stuff. It's almost like this benevolent guide gaslights us into not like truly like trickster spirit energy. But it's like it gaslights us into not listening to our intuition or whatever. And again, it's like that's how it calls the owl into question while making itself appear to be whatever. But this is the voice of our intuition. This, or there's a truth that's communicated to us through our intuition. But because it's that truth is the Ace of Swords that leads this nine to the 10, it doesn't feel like a necessarily comfortable truth. This is almost one of those like ignorance is bliss types of situations, but we don't think that we're ignorant. And I'll totally take this as one of those reader thou readest for thine self moments. Or it's like there's something that parades or masquerades as beneficial that causes something that casts doubt on something else that is actually beneficial or that is trying to be energetically, there's something that is actually beneficial. And then there's this other thing that plays to maybe confirmation biases or whatever. It makes itself look lighter. But this Ten of Swords, it's giving me corruption. Not the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is actually a purifying. There's a game or a show or something that I've watched or played not extremely recently. Like I almost see it in my mind, but I'm like, is that something that I actually like saw or watched? Yes, it is. It is, but I know I saw it. I wish I could remember. There was something where there were like red crystals. Was it The Witcher? I don't think it was The Witcher. Like I watched my friend play Witcher 3 and he was a lot farther than it's Red Lyrium. That's what I think it's Red Lyrium from Dragon Age Inquisition. I haven't finished Inquisition. Veilguard is coming out at the end of the month. It's interesting that Veilguard is coming out and the Veil Walker was just released in the Spiritborn of Diablo. So at the beginning of October, the Veil Walker is released. At the end of October, the Veil Guard is released. Anyway, that caused a specific dream to mind, but it's mine. There's something about like Red Lyrium. It's been so long since I played the game. I don't know, but it's like there's some kind of power or something that people get from Red Lyrium, but it corrupts them. And so this Ten of Swords is like this very delicate procedure to try to remove the corruption of red lyrium because it's like it corrupts the body. Now we've seen the Ten of Swords associated with surgery recently. I think it was the Destroyer and the Vitruvian SKT. It was the Ten of Swords, so it had to be in the Vitruvian SKT. But then we saw the Seven of Swords in the Revelations edition because it was like the swords had gone all the way through the body. And as the swords go through the body, there's something inside of the body that the swords actually like push out. That was that acupuncture energy of the Ten of Swords that came out recently. And it's almost like as long as that red lyrium, or as long as whatever is the source of this corruption. No, I'm seeing like the poet, like holding on to the thing. Um, as long as it remains inside the body, it's going to continue to cause corruption. And that's actually the source of the Nine of Swords. So that plays into the whole, like when the snake came out. Well, it was the animal in the temple that reminded me of the snake. How there was the bounty put out on the snakes, and it was so lucrative that people started breeding snakes. So now there was even more snakes than there were before. Um, it's almost like it whatever is the corruption, it's the source of this Nine of Swords, but it tries to lighten itself to appear to relieve it. It's like the evil company is the one that's causing the problems in the first place while they sell us a solution. But the evil company is maybe like a spiritual complex or a religious complex and not like, whatever. I don't know. I regret it. I regret this. I feel like I should just like stop going live. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, though. Like high key, awareness is pain. Is that the saying? Is that what that means? Um, see, there's no. I know it's a cage, and cages aren't great, but it's the only symbolic imagery of a home that exists. It's like these free birds think that they live outside of the cage because they're not in it, but they're just like in a mental sort of cage, in a mental prison. And also, again, it's because the owl is made to look bad. It's that like gaslighty energy. It's like, oh, you don't want to go up there. That's a cage. You'll be imprisoned. You're happier out here doing all this. And it's like, no, absolutely not. That is not correct. And with this crow and the Five of Swords, it's like it's holding these two swords. It's like hiding these two, and then it's like, look over there, or look over there, and they're like flying off in this direction. This is misdirection. And the Queen of Swords, that's like, I don't know. I thought the Queen of Swords was like on our side because she's doing the same thing. Maybe this Queen of Swords represents us and how we build a foundation of knowledge based upon whatever misinformation this is. And then we can misguide others. Queen of Swords is us thinking that like we really know something. But again, it's all based off of this misdirection. We're actually seeking the thing. Because it like the lion raven at the top of this lion crow sits rough it sits below what is viewed as the cage. Oh gosh. Like how do we keep ending up here? Maybe it's important to talk about. I don't know. I don't know what I expected either though, really. you know. So, what is the resolution of this? The Ten of Cups at the cut again. See, there's something interesting here. With the Ten of Cups being at the cut, it's almost like the desire is real, but the way that we are convinced to go about it is not. That's what continuously generates this Nine of Swords energy. And it's almost like whenever one of these birds within this mental prison, or within the mental cage, the cage of the mind, it's almost like whenever they try to ascend too far up, they get like stuck with this sword, like this Ace of Swords almost like impales them and pulls them back down. Almost like a crab in the barrel type, whatever. But again, the energy that is at play, it is not an energy. It can't give what it is that we're genuinely seeking, or that it can't give what it is that we genuinely desire. And it's almost like it's because we become these queens of swords. It's almost like the lie doesn't, the best lie is one that is incomplete because the human mind will fill in all the gaps, almost type of energy. And again, we're seeking something in a way that can never give it if we if it satisfies the ego. It's this whole I don't know what this is. I'm gonna just keep reading it. I mean, you can see it. It's something that's like apparent. Um, it's not Jonathan Jonathan Livingston Seagull, but this Ten of Swords, it's giving me like clipped wings. But again, this Ten of Swords feels like it's a procedure to remove something that's been. I'm reminded of how they say that all disease emerges as emotional, mental, spiritual unrest within the body that leads to inflammation that causes disease and so on and so forth. Right. It's like I had it and then I lost it. Again, this still feels surgical. It's that unrest that causes these wings to be clipped, and it's an almost crab in the barrel sort of sentiment, I guess, that becomes pervasive. This energy can't offer what it is that we desire, and it knows that. And I think at some point, sometimes we know that, we figure it out, but it's almost giving. I've never seen the Stepford Wives. I haven't seen Heather's. It's almost giving a kind of Stockholm syndrome, but it's more. Again, it's like we convince ourselves. In this Two of Cups in particular, it's how it's reading today. It's not how this always is. But it's like this is a closed loop situation. There is no. But again, like we're convinced to see that as a cage. So we don't even realize that that's the thing that we truly want. That again plays into that Nine of Cups. Somebody gets what it is that they desire because it's what they truly desire, because they're aligned to it, basically. And there are ways that we think we align to things that we actually don't. Again, sometimes in some ways, it's like if this is an energy that we were truly pursuing, or if the energy that presents itself truly was what it is, the world would be different. Our lives would be different. Who was that? The Lovers. Ten of Pentacles. This is so interesting. Because in the Lovers card, there's only one snake. But here there's like two. The two snakes in the caduceus here. It's like these two birds that are fighting up here. Even if you try to ignore one of them, again, it's something about the energy itself that doesn't align to what it is that we want. And it's like, just look at the difference between the crows and the Two of Cups and the Lovers. Like, this feels like a lot of air, a lot of communication, a lot of talk, a lot of exchange surrounding like maybe love and peace and harmony and unity and stuff. But again, like this is so conceptual. This is so much of an idea. It's so much of a practice. It's so much of something that we become conditioned to believe we're heading towards, but they're not actually like looking at the heart. They're not actually looking down at what's happening in this exchange. Here they are. And there's something about it being like one snake, especially here, where again, it's like these two snakes fight each other over like who gets to claim whatever or who gets to be whatever. Again, it reminds me of that energy of when we can't accept separation for what it is, when we can't accept differences for what they are, when we can't, or when we refuse to acknowledge that I am me and you are you, and all together there is a we. Our inability to acknowledge or understand or appreciate separation in the 3D is what distorts our conception or idea of unity above it. And again, that almost plays into that energy of when we try to make the divine like human, when we cause the divine to fall rather than us rising. And it's not about higher or lower, but It's like when we glorify ourselves in that way, it creates like this sort of environment. It doesn't actually align. And it feels like there's so much vulnerability and accountability and so much of everything when we're in this energy rather than this one, where we just like talk about it and we like feed each other's egos, and but they never even like glance at the heart. They don't actually look at it. Let's read the book. What's the difference between iron and lead? I feel like lead is PB, iron is FE. Let's get a periodic table of elements, of elements. Oh, look, FE right there, number 26. Atomic number 26. Where's PB? Oops, go back. Let's just like download the image or whatever. Cool, love it. Where is FE like actually? Here's iron. It's a transition metal. Where is lead? Where is gold? Gold is atomic number 47. It's almost double the atomic mass of iron. Iron has an atomic mass of 55.845. Gold has an atomic mass of 107.8682. Lead, I'm still looking for. Is lead not PB? Oh, here it is. What? Lead has an atomic mass of 207.2. Atomic number 82. One is roughly half the atomic mass of gold. One is roughly double. So to go from lead to gold, you have to keep basically breaking it down atomically. But gold and iron are both transition metals. Lead is categorized as other metal. You have to build iron up a difference of 20, which is judgment and also justice or strength. And then from the 82 to the 46, no, not 46. It's, hold up. I'm looking at the wrong thing. That was silver. I was looking at silver. AG is silver. Argentum. Aurum is gold. 196.9665. It's 79. So it's really close to lead, actually. If you lose 8, an atomic mass of like about 8, you'll get to gold. It's only a difference in an atomic number of 3. but it's still a transition metal. 26. Girl, where's math? I can't do that math. I have a calculator. What is that? 196 point. That's 197. I was trying to do 79 minus 26. That's 3,553. 53 is Temperance and the Empress. That's the difference. Like, you have to lose an Empress to go from lead to gold. You have to gain Temperance and the Empress to go from iron to gold. I don't know why I'm looking at the periodic table. 196, that's almost, if we do 50 and 200, that would be 4 times. The math isn't exact. Let's say 3. I was looking at silver. Silver has been coming out a lot lately. But again, silver must be polished. The Ace of Pentacles and the Hierophant. At the bottom of the deck. There's the Ace of Pentacles here. A lot of times for me, the Ace of Pentacles represents the world. It just does. But here, with the Hermit and the Ace of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands is under this. Her, between the Hierophant and the Moon, is this Queen of Wands. The Queen is number 12. Page is 11. The Knight is 12. The Queen is 13. The King is 14. This is the difference of 13 between 5 and 18, is this Queen of Wands. Where it's like there's 2 lions supporting that wand, rather than the one. See, now it's like it's given some kind of hologram projection type energy. But in reality, it's like this is the lion grounded here between the Hierophant and the Moon. But with the Hierophant and this Ace of Pentacles, it's almost like if we would observe things on Earth, again, sort of going back to that, when we can't acknowledge or see that there's separation between us, it makes unity. It's like if we can't acknowledge separation, then we can't identify true unity. And because of that, globally, or as you try to consider more and more and more people, it becomes harder for actual true unity to exist. And separation doesn't have to mean, it's almost because of our inability as humans to truly get along with one another despite our differences, or to overcome difference, or to view difference as anything but difference. Like, separation isn't inherently bad or inherently evil, just as unity isn't inherently good. Like, someone could be different. A separation can exist and it just like it not be anything more than what it is. Again, it's because of our inability to accept, handle, face, address separation, we also can never experience unity. And it's like if we would look at the world and all of its seasons and all of its cycles and all of its harmonies and symbiotic relationships, like the best or truest symbiotic relationships exist because of difference. Like the birds that sit on the rhinos, or the little fish that swim under the sharks. The sharks give them protection and they clean the sharks or remove barnacles or whatever they do. I don't remember. But it's because of their difference and their unison despite that difference that makes that symbiotic pair or harmony truly shine. But it's nature, it's the world in a way that for some reason, somehow, spiritual eyes don't see. And it's taken advantage of. That's almost like the end for this faux benevolent guide. This benevolent guide will guide us right into whatever this is, and we'll just I don't know. Anyway, don't take it if it doesn't resonate. This message, like, I am a whole bottle. This is a whole bottle down. I accidentally dropped the top. And whenever I drop the top, I'm like, oh, can't put it back on the bottle. So I guess I just have to drink it. Again, I feel like there are so many, we put so much meaning as humans on things that don't, like things that don't have to mean what they come to mean. Like we're so obsessed with trying to feel good about ourselves, even when it comes at the expense of other people. Or for some, it's like impossible for us to feel good about ourselves without viewing other people as like below us or beneath us. Like I'll put myself on a pedestal all day long. I've reached a point in my relationship with me where I deserve it. But just because I put myself on a pedestal doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. In Patrick's world, we should all be on a pedestal. There's a superlative that we all embody. We're all the most us, right? Like a teacher student, the teacher isn't any better than the student. Students teach, a good teacher will learn from their students as the students learn from them. There is no inherent hierarchy in that relationship. One isn't better than the other. But again, it's because societies and cultures are almost in some ways built upon hierarchies and someone being beneath or below someone else, because that's the only way sometimes we know how to feel good about ourselves. That we again introduce a whole bunch of stuff in ways that there need not be. And because of that, there are things that we can almost never see. And that's a people thing. That's an us thing as individual, because it's not as individuals, because it's not all people. And sometimes we don't see. I mean, you could argue that we don't see that which we don't wish to see. And conversely, sometimes we see what we desire, even if it isn't there. That's why that Nine of Swords works with that Ace of Swords. That's why this trickster spirit can appear as beneficial. And that's why that which supposedly stands for unity can cause so much division. And why sometimes those that are accused of causing division, it's not seen how they actually stand for unity. And it's nothing that is extremely complex. It's almost like it has to be simple. It has to be simple enough for many, 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 many different people to project onto it or to latch onto it through a projection of desire to make it more than it is and not realize that it doesn't take them where they want. or where they think they're going. Strength and temperance at the cut. I'm gonna have to go to the restroom pretty soon. Ooh, who was that? We just got a clean fall and it's face down. I'm gonna keep it face down. I'm gonna get the alchemy first. The star. We started with the star. I feel like we end with the star. Waters of the heavens. Oh, this is a non-crow bird. There's a non-crow bird in the crow tarot. I don't think there's many of those. Interesting. So interesting. I feel like I didn't read these. I tried to look for lead. I mean, I did. Or iron. I keep doing that. And then summer is 18. I will read both of these because they're fairly close. Ferrum, iron, magnetism, reliability, and Mars. This is because we saw Saturn somewhere and Mars are two malefics. Again, it's the question of like, in what world, realm, or reality are Mars and like Saturn malefics? I don't know. For some reason, it's been a little bit of a minute now. It's like it speaks truth to so much. Understanding truly, like there's such an element of truth to Saturn that Jupiter as the planet of expansion is naturally inclined to indulge, mayhaps, in a little hyperbole to make things bigger, grander, or smaller than they actually are. To play with the truth, but not necessarily present it as it is. And then again, Mars is the planet of action. Iron is a reliable metal that can withstand great pressure. Over the centuries, we have come to utilize this metal extensively, mixing it with carbon to create the steel bridges, highways, and infrastructures that span across the globe. In alchemy, iron is associated with the planet Mars and shares its qualities of being strong, assertive, and potentially warlike. When the iron card appears, there is a call to rely only on the reliable. What truly supports you? That's a great question. What truly supports you? Because I feel like there's a difference. There are things that may emotionally, mentally, or even spiritually comfort us that don't necessarily support us. Right? It's like, it's almost like if you have a friend and then one day you're like, why do you like always co-sign my bad ideas? Or like, why are you always down when I come to you and I'm like, should I do this thing that's going to terribly inconvenience me? But because I'm emotional and short sighted right now, it sounds like a good idea. And you're like, yeah, oh my gosh, like totally. But when it comes to the things that will like actually further me in life, like I get none of that support. You know what I mean? Like once we reach a certain level within ourselves, we start to look at what actually supports us versus what comforts us. And what comforts us in a way that keeps us stuck, stagnant, or repeating the same cycles, maybe in a different, like, I don't know. It's almost like Call of Duty where they like reskin it and they just put it back out there. We updated the graphics, but it's the same game you've been playing for the last decade, you know. Can you tell I don't maybe it's deeper than that, okay? I'll blame the alcohol. I don't mind. I'm kidding, I won't. Iron is associated with the planet Mars and shares its qualities of being strong, assertive, and potentially warlike. When the Iron card appears, there is a call to rely only on what is reliable, what truly supports you, what have you already built. Iron dwells at the center of Earth, so when all else feels lost, go inward. There is a deep magnet there that pulls you toward what is steady and true. For the moment, put your words and weapons down and let yourself be held by the structure that is already in place. People hate structure. Structure is an indigo's kryptonite. Indigos don't stand for. I'm gonna reel it in, okay? But again, like that's the thing about devil energy, or the thing about whatever this trickstery appears to be benevolent guide is. It plays to us, our comfortabilities, our proclivities, our emotions, what it is that we already believe, and it will create illusions that maybe sometimes make us feel like there's progress or that keep us satiated, but overall we don't really go anywhere. It can't offer substance. And just ace this summer: fullness, vitality, sensuality. To experience summer is to be embodied. It's to be embodied. Something else. I feel like I've only read Iron tonight. Something else mentioned being embodied. Did it not? Maybe it's just because I've read the summer card recently. Excuse me. The summer air kisses body, opening us up in ways long forgotten. Lust, desire, laughter, sweat, physicality. These are all expressions of summer's fullness shining through. When this card appears, know that the senses are heightened and the work is nearing full expression. It may feel as though things are electrified or about to burst. Keep in mind that, like all the alchemical seasons, summer will soon pass. For now, everything in your narrative is fleshed out. And the story, just another chapter or two until it begins again. So, of ripening in rhythm, celebrate, gather, connect. Whether the season is literal or metaphorical, let yourself be swept into the pulse of these hot and heavy nights. Embodiment and magnetism, fullness, vitality, sensuality, magnetism, reliability, and Mars. Mars will reliable, but Mars is so da 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 that it'll only lead to arguments and this and that, and it's like, girl, oof. Again, it's convenient how the two planets that are arguably, I will say arguably, the two planets that empower us the most are the malefics, are the ones that have been kind of like tapped on for how long? Since we've been looking at the stars. But the planet of like what passive reception, and it's almost like a Brave New World how everybody was on Soma. Like Soma is Jupiter and Venus. Soma, like that's the rose tinted. It feeds so much of the imagination and the heart. Maybe it's almost like we don't even notice that there is no substance. That which is of substance. I haven't seen the substance, but I've seen the memes. Or I don't even know if they're memes as much as like reactions. Again, we praise that which lacks substance. And it's interesting because we've gotten to the point where we can comment on the vapidness of like modern celebrity and influencer culture and everything else, but those aren't the only areas of life where there is no substance. Again, it's really easy to make things seem a certain type of way when A, you have all the power, or B, you are this master of illusion that not even necessarily a master, right? But it's like, this energy is a higher whatever than was that not like 2021? I think it was 2021. And I remember Rob did a video that was like, when you're connected to the spirits, what are you really connecting to? And I think Reem did one, and I feel like it was circulating the collective. And it's like it never stopped being relevant, but also so many of us desired so much, so many things, that it's almost like we were kind of spiritually, energetically desperate, or are desperate for anything that will change our circumstance. And I don't know. Maybe that's the like I had de tu fe, the face of your faith. I said Kaha. I wanted to say Kaha, but it was like Kata. I looked it up. Kaha is like the box of your faith. And I was like, which is also like appropriate. But it was Lakata, the face of your faith, because of the eyes that were in the darkness and the mirror, or the glass that was the mirror, and all that stuff. Iron and glass. Interesting. Rely on only what is reliable, what truly supports you. And then glass is here. It's gold and iron. We go from iron to gold. Interesting. Even though lead is atomically so much closer. To go from iron to gold is creation, is generative. Because again, is lower in atomic mass gold is. So you have to build iron up to reach gold. To go from lead to gold is destructive. You have to strip lead of its substance on the atomic level in order to get to gold. And it's not that one is necessarily whatever and the other is necessarily inherently whatever. Nothing, there are very few things that are inherently whatever. Even the light isn't necessarily inherently good, just as the darkness isn't necessarily inherently shadow. There's been a lot of, both have done many things. And just because the dark isn't inherently evil doesn't mean that all darkness is good, girl. That is not what that means. That does not mean throw yourselves into the shadow with reckless abandon and just attach to anything. Or maybe it does. If that resonates for you, then take it. Antimony and the great work. There's antimony again. Interesting. It's not easy. Not easy. It's not hard for things to appear as they are not to a human. People do it. People can put on a facade and present themselves as something that they're not. Spirits most definitely can. Why salt? There's a wisdom to a true benevolent guide. This is also symbolic of earth. There's a substance to it. There's a substantiated wisdom. That's also how you can tell the difference. Again, with that, what truly supports you? And sometimes we as humans can go, well, I've been praying about this or following this and doing that, and nothing has changed. That's not supporting me. It's like, okay, well, do you listen? Do you actually intuitively do the things that your discernment guides you to do, or do you just? It reminds me of when the Water of Libra, I think, came out with the Hanged Man. And the Water of Libra was like, well, it's been 15 years and I still don't have whatever. So I've been committed. And it's like, no, you've been doing nothing in that 15 years. You've just been like standing around, which is very different. Hashtag not all Libras, like, not honestly, obviously, like not all Libras, but there's a difference between what we do in times of stillness and doing nothing in times of stillness. And that's something that sometimes only we know. It's like someone waiting for hours for they go to a restaurant and they tantrum and they're like, you never told me about my food, and they're like, I don't have an order for you. Like, I put in the order hours ago. Here, see, look at my phone, and then your phone, and you never place the order. You just tell other people. Yeah, okay. I'm getting so warm. I need to cool down. But honestly, like, I feel like sometimes we get so frustrated and so irritated with the process and the journey when we're not even doing what we're intuitively led and guided to do. But there's a almost sometimes an entitlement to being human. I don't know. Anyway, anyway. There is a whole interesting phenomenon of I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna get into it. Oh my gosh. I gotta go to the bathroom. The Raven's Head and Fog came out. I will be right back. Literally about to explode. All right, I'm at the Raven's Head and Fog. But it was such a clean. Its head is number 47, fog is 39. 47 is an 11, 39 is a 12. These are our final cards. I think this is also what happens when we have not human hierophants. When you have a human hierophant that's been elevated, that it has been for so long, like end up here. Basically. And when hierophants are held to be, whereas sometimes the hierophant is treated as the word from the divine or as a word from the divine. And it's not that people don't receive messages, it's not that people don't channel, but at the end of the day, humans are human, right? I'm human just like everybody else. So don't what Patrick puts himself on a pedestal. You ain't you that's not for you to do. Put yourself on the pedestal. Um but we just almost like trust and we run with it. It was like I had a friend who I met through the weirdest circumstance, but who has become such a great friend to me. He majored in philosophy and anthropology, I think. And I was like, ooh, like philosophy interests me. Like, I wish I would have done something like philosophy. But then it's like, I feel like when I think of majoring in philosophy, I think what I assume would be something like the days of Athens, like in the days of, like philosophizing on a soapbox and the other, or whatever. And it was like, no, you just like learn what other people think. It's like, oh, there are people who have established schools of thought, and I guess you just like indoctrinate yourself into someone else's school of thought and carry their thought forward or whatever. It isn't actually like teaching somebody how to be a philosopher. I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't do it because that's disappointing. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. I hope everything's okay because there's actually a hospital. No, it's not there anymore. They moved. There used to be a hospital like not too far away, and they would, if they had to air a larger hospital or whatever, those used to be the helicopters that would come in and out. The bottom of the deck is silver. If we polish the fog, and it's almost like there's some silver here in the fog. If we polish the fog, it will reveal the truth. It's like the owl will come into full focus, the illusion, the glamour of the benevolent guide will fade. That's why I was looking at AG. I was like, silver has been coming out so much. Silver is like almost twice of lead. So not even halfway. Roughly, roughly halfway to gold atomically is silver. Something that must be polished. The polishing is the questioning. Again, silver, smoke, fog, Neptune. These alchemy cards keep coming out. Maybe it also speaks of the time that we're in now that Pluto is direct and concluding its stay in Capricorn for the next 200 some years. It's not going to be back. And Capricorn speaks so much to foundations. We're while Pluto was in Capricorn, it was to create or raise a foundation that's supposed to be 230 to 240. From 220 to 240 years. Confidently. Do I have a reason to be confident? Some would say that I'm much more confident than I should be. I reply, I am healing my Chiron and Leo. A foundation that's supposed to last 200 years. I guess that's a question of starting from now plus 200 years. How long will that last? How long will it run for? If polished, it will reveal itself. This makes me think of the Archmage of Water, the challenge of the King of Cups. And we can ask 3 yes or no questions and receive a truthful answer. If we ask a particularly thoughtful question, then we are awarded a tome of understanding that has the ability to take our understanding to superhuman levels. Our wisdom, it has the ability to take our wisdom to superhuman levels. I feel like sometimes, again, there's so much on like true intention and stuff like that that is here. I was looking. It's fine. I'm a weirdo. I accept it. I saw the ring light is in the camera again, so you know I was like mystified and obsessed last time. But yeah, 220 to 240 years from now, on the base level, are we good? How long are we gonna last? Maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe it's like, would you be satisfied with it? And while the North Node is in Aries, like now is the time for action. Because North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo, it was just like it's accommodating to a fault, almost. I don't know. Da, 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 da. I actually okay. I pulled the affirmators. I'm gonna do one card from them after I get final cards because hopefully it'll balance it out. Like part of me wants to be like nice or whatever, but also at the same time, I am not the person who is going to afford someone compassion while they hurt somebody else. You know what I mean? It's like that's weird. That's weird to me. It's like you are kicking somebody else in the teeth and you don't want someone to tell you stop because now you're it's like what? That's so weird. That is so weird. It's perfectly human. It is. That's a perfectly human response to have. How dare you call me out while I am in. Again, it's a perfectly human response. I hurt you. I don't care. You're hurting me by telling me how hurt you are by what I did to you. Why don't you think about how I feel? I'm just like, I'm not that person. If that's the kind of reader you need or whatever, I will never be that for you. And I am perfectly okay with that. I am more than okay with that. Because, that's how we end up where we are. That's how we stay here. Anyway, the card that came out face down is the Ten of Swords. The bottom of the deck is the Star. It's healing. This is a necessary procedure. And again, it's like while something continues to remain in the body, it will continue to cause corruption. Which again, like, but we saw that in the creator. It was two cards, and then the creator, the shadow, and the dead end, with the shapeshifter at the bottom of the deck. We have changed so much and progressed so much over the years, but it's because that what hasn't changed has persisted, that we continue to end up in the situations that we continue to end up in. And us being human, we seek the thing that will allow us to be who we are, even if it doesn't truly support us, even if it's, detrimental to our health, happiness, and well being. As long as it doesn't make us feel bad about ourselves, we'll do it. Right? Like, I eat a lot of fast food. I know. I make choices that aren't the healthiest every day. Isn't it great being human? Oh my gosh, I love that. Gentleness. We'll see. We'll see if it comes out. Yeah, maybe I am more giggly when I do an oracle, just because it's like, I was like, oh, not gonna go there, not gonna say that. It's just like, but you gotta respect people's feelings, even when they disrespect yours. So, I don't know. I've never been about that. I don't think I ever will be, and I'm totally okay with that. Authenticity. Oh my gosh, accurate. Bottom of the deck is gentleness. It's at the bottom of the deck. Authenticity is the name of the game. Whatever comes up, I will feel it. Whatever needs to be said, I will say it. Whoever doesn't get it doesn't have to get it, but at least they know it because I've said it. And that's way better than leaving a passive aggressive note about it. I'm sorry, I just got triggered. Oh, I just got triggered. Someone left a passive aggressive note about me one time. It was a room. It was like the only. I haven't had a lot of bad bosses. I had one that was terrible. I've been fortunate to have a lot of good bosses. I had a really terrible boss, and then a boss that I learned to see eye to eye with, who actually taught me a lot. And I haven't had a lot of bad roommates because I haven't had a lot of roommates, honestly. But I had one, and he left a passive aggressive note, and I was like, I do passive aggressive up until a certain point, up until a certain extent, and then for me, it's just aggressive. You know, it's like I'm not gonna do this whole dance and whatever thing. You don't pay my bills. You contribute nothing to my happiness and well-being here. You actually kind of sort of actively work against it. He threw like chicken bones in the garbage disposal and like broke the microwave in the common area where we all would be charged for it. He was the main culprit, throwing away like food in the garbage, and then was complaining about the smell. And he was like, man, that garbage is starting to stink. I was like, yeah, it is, but I don't use that garbage, so I'm not taking it out. I don't know what you think the setup is. I am definitely for sure not cleaning up after you. You use the garbage, you stink it up, you clean it up, like you take it out. Like, what do you think this is? You can be as passive aggressive as you want to be. It's not going to get you where you think it's not going to get you anywhere. Now, because I can be passive aggressive too until the passive runs out, and you don't want me when I'm aggressive. Trust me, because I don't mind being aggressive. I kind of like it, which is why I try not to get angry. Because there's a part of me that just like feeds on it, and it's like, girl, you got to keep it together. I'm like, I know, I'm an adult. Anyway, authenticity. it was so wild to me though. Like that blows my mind. How someone like where does that work? Like, oh, I just stunk up that I guess bathroom. I just stunk up the garbage. You better go take that out. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And honestly, it doesn't bother me because I'm not in that area. You got a problem with it, you handle it and address it, girl. You trying to make it my problem isn't gonna make it my problem. But anyway, that was an aside. I handled it with gentleness. I didn't give. And then my other roommate, I think I referenced him earlier in this video. Or no, I was just thinking about him before I went live because his birthday is coming up. It's actually in 2 weeks. His birthday is in 2 weeks. He took care of it. He was like, yeah, he was out there screaming one day, so I did it. And I was like, you're a better one than me. Because he would still be screaming to this day. What is that? A card flipped over. Hold up. All of these cards are flipped over. Anyway. Gentleness. I speak with gentleness and I listen with gentleness. I align with the gentlest part of myself and I take joy in being receptive, open, and unafraid. I am like a baby deer who's best friends with the baby elephant. The baby elephant wraps its little trunk around my shoulders and we lie down gently on the grass, daydreaming and talking about what sorts of humans the clouds look like. Wouldn't it be hilarious if this was the gentlest part? Honestly, in the situation of like passive aggressive notes and stuff like that, that is the gentlest part of me. Because, like I said, the fuse is short. And I feel like I am so like kind and compassionate and accommodating that sometimes people think that they could do whatever. And it's like, girl, don't let the Pisces sun and Mercury fool you. I am a Taurus moon. I'm an algal moon, first and foremost, and a Taurus rising. My Mars is in Cancer. Don't upset me. And don't mess with nobody that will upset me. Because then the Pisces in me will be like, okay, you deserve the other fish. You call for the other fish, you will get the other fish. And when you see that it's not what you want, you'll have yourself to thank. And Patrick will feel no way about it. I am not your love and light reader. That is not me. I am not here to be taken advantage of or disrespected. I don't care how it makes me look or come off. Because again, if you get that from me, you earned it. You deserve it. Congratulations. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't know what you thought would happen. And I'm just talking to nobody right now. Yeah, so. No. Yeah, I just like, I wasn't really in the communal areas, and he wasn't he could have been going through something because he was like, and he would go into the common area to yell. He like went into the common area and was yelling at his girlfriend on the phone, like, I don't need you and blah, 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 whatever. And then I saw him on this one day after we didn't live there, and he said hi to me. I was like, hey, I'm so just, I am just not, that line is crossed. There aren't many, if any, people who have come back from it. And again, to me, it's like at the end of the day, if you don't love, cherish, value, respect me enough to not cross that line, what am I losing? You know what I mean? It's like, no, but I wasn't in the common area like that. I don't know. I feel like it's a when it comes to me, I feel like it's a misconception on some stuff because, and again, I feel like it reveals so much about a person. To me, in my world, it reveals more to me about a person than it does about me. If you would take advantage of me and try to do all this when I am like nice, caring, kind, compassionate, when I'm expressing boundaries or whatever, like I did my part. You made the choice to not respect that. When you made the choice to not respect that, like all of like you chose all of this. I didn't make you choose. I tried to warn you. I tried to stop you. But you didn't care, I guess. And I no longer care. So here we are, you know. But again, that passive aggressive note, it got me. It got me. I was triggered. I was taken back to the moment where I saw that note. And I was like, oh. See, because he had talked to me before, and I'm just like, okay. And I feel like he thought that when I said okay, that meant that I was gonna like do what he said I should do or whatever. I'm just like, no. And then he left that passive aggressive note, and then he went out there and started yelling. And I'm like, girl, who are you yelling at? You are the culprit. Like you're angry with yourself. Let me stop. You're angry with yourself for something that you did and that you are actively still doing. Thinking that I'm gonna claim. I was like, I don't know what your perception is. I don't know what you're used to, but I can assure you that it's not whatever you think. I got planets all over the place. Don't let my little nice, amicable, sometimes Pisces, whatever, fool you, because I'm not the lady to mess with. I don't know whose song that is in W. It's like, I'm not the lady to mess with, you know. But yeah, people will try it, and it's so weird. It's so weird to me how people will try you and then be like, "Oh my gosh," and it's like, "Girl, like, oh, I guess I was just to take it." Never in my life. There was a period in my life where I kind of did. I don't know how that happened because that is not who I am. But apparently, there was something for me to, and I learned it anyway. I don't know. Sometimes it's like there's too much at stake to just no. I'm like, no, it's not. Why would I put myself in an environment where I'm treated, especially if I say something? Why would I do that to me? You know? Why would I do that to you, non-specific person? Or you just continue to think that you could like treat me a certain type of way or talk to me a certain type of way. Like, baby, that's not reality. I may be a Pisces out in the dream world, ethereal illusion la la land, the Lulu Island. But let this Taurus moon ground the both of us. See how I'm not generally like that. But again, it's because I'm not like that that if that is something that happened, like somebody earned that. Somebody deserves it. Like again, play stupid games, prizes. And I know people would be like, oh, but that's you giving your power away to somebody else. No, me giving my power away to somebody else would be me continuing to be nice and whatever and to continue to put up with that. That would be me giving my power away. That takes more energy and effort and everything. And it's when it's not deserved. No, no, no. You're giving your power. Well, I'm not going to disempower myself either. So I know. I say non-specific person because it's just like in general. Again, it was aggressive word. It's been a full 10 minutes. I needed to get it out of my system. Better here, hypothetically, than in the real world, you know. Initiative at the bottom of the deck. All right, all right. Final card from the Affirmators, Love and Relationships. From the Affirmators, we got authenticity. And you know what? Since it was for me, I'm going to shuffle it again. I'm going to shuffle it again. But yeah, that's not that. No, it's just mm, 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 mm. That's not authentic to me and who I am, and I don't mind it. God works on me. It's the card. It triggered me. It said passive aggressive notes, and I received a passive aggressive note one time because I didn't do what somebody else wanted me to. I'm like, I'm not even contributing to the problem. You better take out that garbage. No judgment. Oh, the cards are saying no judgment. Spirit is like, we know who Patrick is, and we know that he's on the Oracle juice, and Spirit is here. So what? I'm just kidding. But again, I've gotten to the point where I'm not. Stuff like that is deserved. And I'd rather not be like that because I'd rather just be like chill and happy. You know what I mean? And pleasant. Like I'd rather everything be copacetic. And if I have to create boundaries to make it so, then I will do so. So anyway. All right. Cards will come back out if they're meant to. They're good like that. Final messages, please, to end this. I feel like I've been a little harsh. I need your kindness. Strength. Strength is the card that comes now. You are hereby declared a strong, resilient warrior of heroic proportions. Enjoy your battles, whatever they are, because you're guaranteed to come through them stronger, brighter, and more compassionate. And based on what I mythology, probably with great hair and a six-pack. The card said it. Bottom of the deck is peacefulness. Sometimes it requires strength to create and maintain peacefulness. A peaceful, tranquil, untroubled heart. This is where I choose to spend my time. I can bring guests, but any person, thought, or event that brings drama or chaos is not invited. My heart is a special property, and I'm going to keep it that way so we can all keep enjoying it and I can get my security deposit back. Also, so when I was moving out, I had my cousins help me move out, and we were pushing it. We were at the deadline. And so everything that I was throwing away, I put outside. And then one of my cousins was like taking stuff to the dumpster. And then the other stuff that was getting packed was like outside my door. My one cousin said that that same roommate put his stuff in the pile with my stuff where my cousin was helping me by throwing my stuff away so that my cousin would throw his stuff away. It's like, what world? In what world? Obviously in his, but not in mine. Strength and peacefulness. Sometimes it requires strength to create and maintain peacefulness. You know, maybe I'm still riled up and the cards are still whatever, but I'm going to leave it. That was just like, it was so wild to me. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what the expectation was. Anyway, surrender and initiative. This is from the Love and Relationships. All right, clean flip or clean fall. Let's go. Let's do this. It's been 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 5 seconds. I'm going to keep going until I get a clean flip or clean fall. And I'll breathe, you know. See, this is why I'm giggly, because I think stuff. I was like, I'll breathe, and I started to breathe, and it was like just hot, fiery dragon fire. Just. And then I laughed. I giggled. None of that. Breathe in the light. Breathe out the ego and shadow. Okay. That almost fell. It was like 4 cards. Clean flip or clean fall, please. I'm going to keep going until one comes out. So. There we go. In reverse. And these are like upright. Rest. I take a step away from my stress. And then a deep breath. And then a crankiness killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't. But I try to, and then we can't, and then it doesn't, but I did, so it wasn't. Ugh, good night. That's what the card said, all of that. I love these cards. I love these. But rest was in reverse. Oh, maybe instead of taking a step away from what stresses us, we step forward and just be authentic in our expression. Or not. Commitment is like at the bottom of the deck is commitment. Is behind commitment. So it's not to be reckless and restless, but I feel like this is a combination of like looking at the bigger picture or understanding when sometimes there are things that weren't being said or addressed in the moment. And maybe it depends on if it's another person or whatever, maybe it depends on the person. Because some people I feel like would be like, oh, well, if it was such a big issue, then why didn't you say anything when it happened? Why are you saying something the next day if it was so important? And so it's to know. Again, it's like it's a bigger picture thing with commitment. Sometimes it is beneficial to rest and sleep on it or to do something that will allow you to say what you need to say in a way that preserves or gets whatever point across that you want to get across. Commitment. I willingly accept that it's safe to topple my walls and commit completely to a relationship. It might be one that's already here or one that's on the way. Oof, why do I feel so triggered? These cards are coming for me tonight. It might be one that's already here or one that's on the way. Either way, those walls have got to go. Without them, I can go further, feel freer, and love bigger than ever before. Bonus, no walls means I'll save a lot of money on picture frames. There you go. So that's what I got. I'm gonna put Oracle Juice something in the title. I mean, it's the end of the video now. Anything I have to say, it doesn't, you know. Um, I think this commitment and rest in reverse or upright. It's a really interesting energy. Commitment, strength, rest, and fullness. I think it's also it is take it as it resonates. If it resonates, don't take it. A lot of the opinions and views I feel like today were those of Patrick. And somewhat observational. I feel like, and I think I said it in the last video, I feel like we've been guided to put ourselves, we've been convinced to put ourselves in such an interesting situation where I think sometimes we demand more energetically and spiritually than we have the capacity to process physically or in the 3D. Like we demand battles of illusion and deception all. But then that means to see the truth. And if there are truths, it just energetically it feels most particularly nasty because it's almost like there are certain veils that we don't agree to that have existed before we came into choice and decision. And when we use our choice, decision, sovereignty, and autonomy to demand that those veils fall, aren't capable of seeing the truth for what it is and then voluntarily put other veils up to distort the truth that we wish not see. It's almost like when we do the thing voluntarily, it's this whole different level of permission than when it was voluntarily. And it's just like that's just there. Um, and like I've made community posts about it. I don't know. And Pluto and Capricorn, I'm sure, has been doing a job this whole time of revealing those things to us. Because sometimes it goes deep. Maybe sometimes it feels like things run deeper than our foundation. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way, you find. I hope that whatever needs a polishing in your life as the silver continues to show up, you can do as whatever reveals its truth. I guess I hope you don't lose sight of yours, you know? And I hope a grace that you can have with yourself for you that doesn't come at the extent of compromised accountability. You know, sometimes things just are what they are, and we can build from there. So, love you too. I hope you both have a great night. Love you both. Sorry. Uh, I'm watching A Discovery of Witches, and there are accents, and whenever I watch like Doctor Who, or I get so mad. But like I feel like sometimes the gift of being mutable is to know oneself well enough that no matter who we are or who we become, there's always that kernel of truth that we can come home to. So you can shapeshift or be something or someone else and not lose yourself, or find a new expression of truth. Because truth is truth. And there are different degrees of truth. You can dilute it with falsity or whatever. To be mutable sometimes is to find another expression of that truth that remains as true as all other expressions of that truth. So, or not, maybe not. I don't know. I remember reading the Earthsea or listening to the Earthsea books, and there were the wizards who became dolphins or crows or whatever, and got stuck because they forgot who they were. And so maybe that's an extra layer to the North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo, because there was so much like dichotomy or duality. Like it was the cherry and then the two of swords, a card of movement and then a card of stance. And it's like regardless of where we find ourselves, it's to have an understanding and a knowing of who we are. One that was expanded, expounded upon, furthered while North Node slash was future time, and the South Node was in Libra. To come into a awareness of the self, but not one that jeopardizes like a sense of belonging, right? Almost very like to be in the world but not of it. North Node Aries to be, or South Node Libra to be in the world. North Node Aries but not be of it. To be able to retain a sense of individuality but still be a part of a collective or a group or whatever. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. I mean, theoretically, you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Also, it kind of sort of depends on the group that you are looking at. Rather, they force conformity. If there is a forced conformity, then there may not be as peaceful of overlap between who you are and who you are demanded or expected to be. So that is so wild to me. It's almost like the animal. I'm catching the ring light and the camera again, and it's like these two pupils that just like light dark. Anyways, all right, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.